Rashika, recording, please.
Recorded bus. Recording started. So, ELS, which is our entity? Our entity, guys.
Take him.
No partiality in this, guys. So since I'm working in Techem, I asked you guys, right? Okay. Cool. Then so we are on general ledger modules, right? Okay. So any queries or questions on the general ledger modules, guys? So we have seen, so how to create a journal postings, right? And also before that we have done setups. What kind of setups we have done in the general ledger module? We have created chart of accounts and we have created financial dimensions. We have defined accounting structure, and then currencies we have defined, and ledger calendars and ledger form we have prepared. And under ledger form, what all so all the sub forms we have added, right? And then so we have created journal names as well. Okay, accrual schemes as well. Also so there are kind of journal names as well we have created. Journal names we have posted. Sorry, we have posted some journals and periodic journals and allocation journals. So any questions on this one, guys? On all these areas?
Rashika, what is the difference between this one? The calendars, we have ledger calendars and physical calendars, right? So what's the difference between the two?
Okay, good question. See, here you have so two types of calendars. One is so physical calendars and ledger calendars. Physical calendars, here you are going to define your only the calendar you are going to define. And so as soon as you create this your physical calendar, it will create, and so it will give you your all the periods. Okay, it will create all the periods. Okay, and this periods, as soon as you create this physical calendar, this will move to your ledger calendar. In the ledger calendar, it will gonna control your module level. Okay, if you see here, suppose suppose this is your physical calendar, this is your ledger calendars. Okay, you only tell me now, so what is the differences you can see here? Okay, this is your physical calendar. Okay, this is all you can see, so all the periods, start date, end date, short name, month, quarter, and comments. Okay, and year, so what is the year you have been created, and all this you can see here. But in the this is your ledger calendar. Okay, what is the difference you can see here? What is the difference you can see here? Say whenever you get this kind of question at the interview level, so guys, your answer should be okay. So physical calendar is nothing but you are going to define the year for the entire system. Okay, and when it comes to your ledger calendar is used to control your period across all the modules. Suppose I wanted to close the period only for the ledger ones. Okay, so for the ledger ones I wanted to so define at the approver level, or so all none. So I wanted to give the permission only for these journals, like this. So you can control it here. Okay, but physical calendar you don't have this control. So it's just so create your periods. Okay, it will just create your periods for the your calendars. Okay, but ledger calendars, it will give you the control to operate, so whether you wanted to close, or whether you wanted to open, whether you wanted to on hold, that too, so you can operate for the you can operate at the module level, your sales tax, bank, cash, and so customer. different level you can operate it. Okay, clear guys? Got it? Got the answer for your question, Lakshmi?
Yeah, Rajshekhar, thank you.
Cool. Okay, there are so reporting. There are financial reports we need to cover in this one. Okay, so we'll see that at the end of the sessions. Okay, financial reports, which is a bit important. We'll see at the end. So you can see here at least so the generation part I'll show now. You can see here these all are the standard reports are available in the system. Okay, you don't need so you don't need to create any of the configurations required. So it will give you the results, the transactions you post in the front end. Okay, so suppose let me generate any one of the report. I'll take some income statement. I don't think it will come. We don't have any. Let me take some cash flow default. Okay, date, just give to the date. It will take bit time actually. What system is saying the financial report will be generated while you continue to work. So system is saying it will take bit more time, so you can continue with your work. So I'll once so report generated, you can see here. Okay, so we'll continue with our work. So once it is generated, we'll see that. Okay, so any further questions on general ledger module, guys? Any doubts? Okay. See, these parameters, whenever it's required and whenever we need to enable this one, I'll explain. Otherwise, if I explain now, so you don't remember. Okay, so let's move on to AP module. Okay, so any idea about what is AP module, guys? Why we need AP module in the Dynamics?
It's all about accounts payables. Maybe like it is gonna show like different buckets like 30, 60, 120. If I'm not wrong. So to maintain that, like AP is.
Yeah.
To
Any further answers?
maintain the vendor books as well as the inventory whatever we have.
Good. Any
Like
further answers?
where we will be doing configurations like vendor creation configurations or payment configurations or purchase order configurations and invoice creation, invoice posting configuration that will be doing in a AP module, Rajshekhar.
Great. Yeah. Right, guys. So AP module, so accounts payable name itself, it's defined. You are paying, right? You're paying to whom? Your suppliers, your vendors, or some different parties, right? So accounts payables is nothing but so every organization or every legal entity, what they does, if they want to manufacture something, if they want to create, or if they want to manufacture some goods or so services, they also parallelly need some support from their vendors or suppliers, right? If you are a company, if you want to manufacture one any of the suppose let's take so you are the vehicle manufacture company. Okay, two-wheeler manufacture company. Okay, all the so raw materials you can't produce yourself, right? You need to depend on your vendors as well, your suppliers as well. Your suppliers needs to so you may purchase some tires, you may purchase some some engines, you may purchase some steel. There are multiple things where you are going to purchase, right? So that's the reason, so for so paying your suppliers in returns of, so your goods or services, your accounts payable modules are, so exist. Okay. In this AP module, we are going to cover, okay, how you make a payments to your vendors. Okay. How you make a payments when you are procuring your services, when you're procuring your goods. Okay. Also how settlement will be done in the system. Okay. How the invoices will be generated through services, through goods. Okay. These all things will just try to understand. Okay. Okay, so first thing, so let's create one vendor. Okay, so we need to onboard the vendors, right? If you want to make some payment, we need to onboard the some vendors. If you want to purchase something, so we should have vendors, right? Okay, so I'll go to all vendors. Okay, I'll create my new vendor. Okay, so guys, you can see here this voucher, so vendor account number. Okay, from where it's been generated, so initially you ran, so your number sequence for all the modules, right? Okay, no, so you may say your client and come and say, boss, so my vendor, I want something like, so VEN 000 some 001 something like that, so that I can identify what is my vendor. Okay, in that case, just close this one. Go to your number sequence at the parameter level, accounts payables, setup, accounts payable parameters. You have a number sequence here. This is your vendor account. So you can see here each and every module, so you have run your number series. Okay. Now, so your client is come and saying, so I want different number sequence. So now you can come and change this number sequence. Okay. How I want some vendor, then 6-digit number. This will be easy for them to identify, right? And then I'll just keep continue. If I want, I'll just save it. Okay, now I'll create new vendor. You can see here the first one I already used for the TechM some 0001. So it's picked up 002. Okay, I'll create. Okay, so mine is some some, let's take mine is some automobile company. So I want some MRF as a vendor. Okay, MRF, sorry, MRF. Okay, and then so groups also important, guys. So what is this groups? Okay, this groups is nothing but, suppose I have so a couple of vendors, so vendors related to some tires, so all the tires, so I have multiple vendors or suppliers, so for all the tire vendors, so I'll group it in one umbrella, so that so whenever I can see, so I can easily identify, I can so uh, define at the posting profile level as well. Okay, also suppose these all are related to some my local vendors. Okay, and so I also have some foreign vendors, so where I import my attires or so my goods from the abroad, so in that case, so I can keep it as some foreign vendors. Okay, so groups you can define it here as well. Also you can go to your path vendor groups and you can define it here as well. Okay, you can take some local vendors, also you can define terms of payment, within how many days I need to pay them. Okay, terms of payment again you can define it into the path as well. Where is the path? You have terms of payment, payments. You have terms of payments. Okay, you can define it here as well. Also, you can define, just right click here. You can have view details. You can go here as well. Okay, so I wanted to so define so within how many days I wanted to make a payment. Okay, I'll take it as 30-day payment. 30 days payment. Okay, net, yes, net I want. And if I want to take it current month, quarter, or whatever I want, I can define it. And then if there is any cash payment, you can define it as cash payment. And month is one, or else yeah, so I'll take it as 30 days. Okay, this will consider. Okay, if you want to so define it so payment schedule also you can create. If you want to define it when actually you wanted to make a payment, you wanted to make payment on the every Saturday, every Sunday, or say every Monday you wanted to make payment, you can still do it. Okay, I have defined my payment terms of payment. I can define one more thing for the 60 days also. 60-day payments. Okay, and again here I'll take it 2 months, and I can keep 60 days as well. Okay, I have created two terms of payments. I can define here my terms of payment as well. This is time between invoice not required. Okay, default tax group, if there is any tax group, so we'll cover the tax groups in the further sessions. Okay, I'll save this one. So now my vendor group is fine, so my local vendors I have defined. Where is my all vendors? Printer. Okay, you can see here local vendors is appearing now, so I have taken my local vendors. Okay, and then so if there is any, this is again organization details. This organization, how many employees is there, organization number, ABN code, and DUNS number. These all information if you have so from your client you can just fill it. Okay, this vendor collaboration not required. Okay, so then you have here your vendor address. Okay, this vendor is located to which address? Okay, you can define what is your vendor address. You can hear some delivery address I can give, business address. You have multiple addresses, guys. You can see here you have business address, consignment, delivery. You have different addresses wherever so you can so you can define these addresses. And so that so this will work out for your delivery purpose, or so invoice purpose, multiple purposes. Okay, just give some address here, so zip code. So I'll take some zip code. I've taken some zip code, and so I'll give some 27 some 7. Just giving some hypothetical example, guys. Yeah, and some. Okay, then so your city and all this information has been picked up, and just say okay, your address has been picked up, and this is the primary address. So whatever the information you send to your this vendor, it will go to this address only. Okay, and contact information. So if you want to contact your vendor, so you should have some email address, you should have some phone number, you should have some URL, different things you require, right, to contact your vendors or suppliers. You have here multiple options. You can so define it whatever you want. Cell number, so I'll give some cell number. Then so I'll add one more thing for the email. I'll take it as email, and I'll give some email addresses. Yes, so you can define all this contact information, guys. Okay. This is all miscellaneous details. This something related to expense related, so you no need to, so bother about this. So if your client want, so further more classification, you can use that. And vendor profiles, whether it is a locally owned or, so small business or woman owner, or so there are multiple, so classification you have the vendor profiles. Okay, so as per your vendor, you can just so you can take it, or one time supplier, or whatever you want. Okay, then purchasing demographics. This is again, so currency level, so what kind of, so demographics you are using for your purchases. Okay, currencies, and so primary contact, line of business, segments, or so this all information. Okay, then invoice delivery purpose, so so each and every vendors, so they may have, so different invoice delivery addresses. That their head office will be in different location, and their warehouse will be in different location. So that, so this information is arrives. Okay, then purchase order details, purchase order defaults. If you want to, when you posting the purchase order, okay, so if you want, this charges group, site, warehouse, so as soon as you select this one, so if you default all this information, you no need to enter all this information at the your transaction level. Okay, so you just select this vendor account, this all information will populate. Okay, and payment as well, this payment level, so what kind of, so terms of payment and method of payment. Method of payment also you can create. Okay, so you can go to your path and you can create it, method of payments. Let's create a few method of payments. Okay, so let's create, so we generally used electronic payments, right? This is against invoice only. Payment. And payment status also you have, so whether it's been sent, or so it's been received or approved, so whatever the status you want, you can keep it. Here you have the methods, so whether it's electronic payment or checks or promissory note, whatever it is. Okay, I'll take it as electronic payment. Okay, and here, so you have, so whether it is pertains to ledger or PO or whatever you want, you wanted to keep it at the bank level. I'll take it at the bank level. Okay, electronic payments can be done through banks, right? You can take it as banks. And payment account, so you have to define your bank account here. If you keep it as, so method of payment as your electronic payment, so you have to define your bank account as well, so that, so it will fetch from your bank. Okay, your transaction types also you can define, whether it is, auto transfer, or so what kind of transfer. Okay, electronic transfer, different things. I'll save this one. Okay, you can select this method of payment as well. Okay, so now I don't select because, so at the transaction level I'll take it. Okay, these all information you can automate. Okay, this is all tax related information. So if your client, so if your vendor has, so some tax information, you can fill all this. Okay, this is again some tax, again retail information, your goods related, or so your so whatever the purchases or item related information, you can fill it here. Okay, this is again financial dimensions. If you want to automate your financial dimensions, here itself you can just automate this one. Okay, and then trade shows, marketing, whatever you want. The dimensions also you have defined here. So save it. So your vendor is ready now. Any doubts on the vendor information, guys? Vendor onboarding, vendor master, any doubts?
No, Rashid.
Okay, great.
No rush.
See here, sorry.
No rush, Shikhar.
Okay. See here there is so couple more
Rashekar,
information.
one doubt, Rashekar. We will be filling all these vendor details, or the end user will be filling these one details, Rashekar?
Say we as a consultant we have to fill all this information. Okay, we need to get this information from our clients. Okay, and these all information, so we need to upload. So one by one you can't create like this. Okay, so you have to so export. There is one more option you have. Where is it? You have here data management.
Okay.
Okay.
Why? Yeah, why? Because it's like for one client, I think we won't be having one, let's say like one or two suppliers. We'll be having multiple suppliers will be vendors will be there, right?
Exactly. That is the reason I'm saying, so here you have data import and export management. You
Okay.
have to, import all the vendors template, so directly here, so this will cover at the end. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Rashekar.
Yeah. Okay. Now there is vendor level. The vendor level you have so other information as well here, so your vendor related information, contacts, bank accounts, or vendor state tax IDs, so you can just go ahead so go ahead and check all this information, these things, so you majorly use, so vendor transactions you can see, so always vendor transactions here. If you post any of the transactions related to vendor, you can see here. Okay, and so global transactions we have seen, right? So from one entity to other entity we have seen how to post the transactions. Also, so if there is any intercompany transactions, okay, all those information you can see it here itself. Okay. Also invoices, whatever the invoices, open invoices or closed invoices, you can see here. Okay, and the balances as well. And tax information, vendor settlement for so some different details is there here. Okay, so just so go through this all so related information, and you might so it's not required initial level, so once you get into the job, so you just also so just go ahead and explore all these features here. Okay, now so your vendor has been created. So if you want to post the transactions, this is not sufficient. Suppose if you want to make a payment to this vendor, that is not sufficient. Okay, so let's try to post the some vendor payment. We'll see what kind of errors we'll get. Okay, vendor payment journal. Okay, so when through vendor payment journal, you make a payments to your vendors, guys, in the system. Okay, suppose I'll take one vendor payment. See, I can directly go ahead and configure all the stuff and also all the backend configuration. Then I can come and post these transactions. But so if you do that, you don't know so what kind of errors you will get. So if you know the errors, then if you find out the fix, then it will be easy for you guys. So at the real time scenarios, right? So let's see. So let's get all the errors, then we'll resolve one by one. Okay. So see here, so name is not there. Okay, if you want to post your vendor payment journal, the name required, right? So name is not there. In all the journal names, you will be created in your general ledger module only. General ledger and journal names. Okay. Here also you can go ahead and select, and here also you can just right click and you can just define it. Okay, let's create one vendor payments. Vendor payments. Okay, and here the journal type is also important. So what is your vendor disbursement? Okay, just create one voucher series here. Okay. I'll restrict under my company level. Tech Mahindra. I'll define how my voucher series required. I'll keep it continuous. Okay. I'll save this one. Close it. I'll attach to my journal. Okay, close this one. And you can go ahead and check now. So vendor payment is journal is now available. Okay, this is all header information, guys. Now let me get into line details. Okay, you can see all this information has been picked up. Take the voucher. Vendor account. This is your subledger account, guys. in the general ledger posting, you can see the difference. Okay, so let me open the general ledger. In the general ledger module, most of the times what you do, you're going to impact your ledger account directly. Okay, so some main accounts you're going to impact directly. You also have feature called so vendor customers, but so majorly your general ledger you're going to impact your ledger account directly, whether it's your expense account or so some revenue account, whatever account so you're going to impact directly. But when it comes to payment journals, okay, the system itself it will show you to so select only the vendor accounts. Okay, so when it is a so vendor payment journal, you have to select only vendor accounts. When it comes to your customer payment, system will give you the option to select only your customers. Okay, now this is your vendor payment journal, so you have to select your vendor account only. Okay, now so give some description, some vendor payments. Okay, then you just give some amount, how much you are paying to your vendor. Some 20,000 I'm making payment to my vendors. And through bank account, here you just select your bank GL, and laterwards we'll see how to take the banks. Okay, through bank payments how we will make, so if I just try to post this transaction, I'll get some error here. Okay, I'll get the error because we haven't done so proper setups. All the setups we haven't completed. Okay, let me save and just try to validate it. It will give me error. See what kind of error it is giving. Posting results for journal batch number so and so, voucher so and so. Posting profile has not been set up in the accounts payable parameters. Okay, so there is no posting profile has been created and it's not been attached with your parameters. Okay, these errors you should be familiar, guys. These errors you should be familiar, so that only whenever you just get the error, just try to read out and try to analyze that what is that error. Okay, then only you just try to so then only you will become a consultant. Okay, now so what we do, so system is saying so bus so you just try to configure your posting profile accounts. Where you have posting profile accounts, you have in your setups, just go to your vendor posting profiles. Okay, you just create here one posting profile accounts. Just create some general posting profiles. General posting profile I have created, and I'll keep it under the group. So we have created some groups, right? Vendor groups. Okay, here I have selected my local group. Okay, so I have selected my local group and also need to define some summary accounts here. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Some of entity, some trade receivables and payables accounts we need to define here. Okay, I'll give my summary account. What is this account? This is my accounts payable domestics. Okay, and then I'll take it for liquidity account for offset. I'll take it my offset account. What is my offset account? Accounts payable offset invoice pending. Okay, and then I'll take it my some liquidity account as well. Then some arrival accounts. Okay, so I have defined my posting profile accounts. What I'm saying my system, so whenever I use my this kind of local vendors, so you have to select, you have to pick up these accounts for my vendor level. Okay, so I'll save this one. Also, so your task not ended, guys. Your task not ended. You have to assign this one at your accounts payable parameters. Okay, just go here. You have here invoice ledger settlements. Here you have your posting profile accounts. You just define it here. Okay, then only it will get selected for your item, for your payments, whatever it is. Okay.
Rashik, how many
Yeah.
parameters we can define?
How many parameters?
Yes.
See, so whenever there is a parameter setups required, I'll explain, guys. So unnecessarily if I just explain all this, so you'll get confused. Suppose to post your journal, to post your transaction, so this payment posting journals are required. This general or so general posting profile are required. Like this, so you can create so multiple posting profiles as well. Okay, but so you can attach your posting profile for the general here itself. Okay, for the prepayment you can add here, and for the tax you have also here and
Oh,
posting profile.
okay.
Okay, so that I'll explain, don't worry. Okay, so now you have done your posting profile and also you have attached your posting profile into your parameter level. Okay, so just save it and now go to your vendor payment journal. This is you have created this one. Okay, this is not got posted, right? Okay, so now we'll just go and validate it. See another error. So main account so and so is not associated with an accounting structure for the ledger so and so tech. Okay, what system is saying, this account is not there in your accounting structure. Okay, so accounting structure we need to verify now. Okay, main account is so and so is not associated with the accounting structure for the ledger tech. Okay, account for automation vendor. Okay, so what system is saying, boss, so you have defined some vendor account in your posting profile. Okay, so this is your vendor account, but this vendor account is not defined in your your accounting structure. Okay, so we'll just go back and refer our accounting structure now. Where I can go ahead and see my accounting structure.
General ledger.
General ledger structure, configure accounting structure. What is my accounting structure? Techem
Yep.
accounting structure. See here, so what we have done, till 1 series to 2 series we have defined here. From where, so from 2 series to 3 series it went. There will be some accounts, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, so from 2 series to 3 series it's been missed. That is what system is saying us. So that is fine, you have taken some account here, but that account is not mapped with your accounting structure. That accounting structure, this account itself, it's not there. Understood what so system is giving the error.
Yes, Rashid.
Guys, everyone understood, so this is very much important. This is where you are going to connect your accounting structure to your transactions. Okay, what system is saying? Okay, can anyone read it for me?
Main account so and so number not associated with an account structure for the ledger tech.
What we understood here?
So the main account, whichever is have to associate it with an accounting structure, which is not defined in the what do you say in the tech ledger tech or in the
TechM
yeah,
is your
yeah,
entity.
yeah, in the legal entity.
Okay. Okay, so now what we do, so let's associate that number here. Okay. What I'll do from
Or else, Shekhar here, after 1 series, 2 series started, right? From 2 or 999 we can do, right?
I can give in this way also. No, it's your convenience,
Yeah.
guys. However you want, you can give
Okay.
it. You want,
Okay.
so just keep it 1 series to 9 series in the one place as well. I'm absolutely fine. I don't have any issues. Here as well, you can see here from 4 series. 4 series to 9 series. There is one more. Yeah. Here I'll keep it as. Okay. So now, so all the number series is covered. Now I'll go ahead and activate this one. Okay, so let's refresh sometime. It will take bit time. Where is your token? Okay, so this has been activated. Okay, now let's go ahead and see this one. Go ahead and validate this one. Simulate posting or validate it. See, now it's get posted. Understood the logic, guys? See, if I tell you guys, if I create my, so posting profiles, if I attach in the parameters, if I give the all the account structure properly, you don't get, so all these errors, so in the suppose if you allocated to some implementation projects, while you configuring, if you get, so these kind of errors, you will just be blank, so you don't know what needs to be done. Now you understood what is the error if we miss the backend setups, right? That is how we need to think as a consultant. Okay, clear, guys?
Yes, Rashid.
Okay, so as a freshers, so suppose, so there are freshers also in this group, guys, so for your understanding, suppose, so you may ask me, Raj, you have created your vendor account here, and so you just directly come and so you posting some vendor payment, and also you have done, so some posting profile account, and so you have done some parameters, so what is the link between all these? So can you just, so explain me what is the link between from your vendor to your journal? Okay, you may ask this question. Okay, so let me explain that. So link between your vendor account to till you post the transaction. What you have done initially, you have created your vendor. To post any of the vendor payment journal, what is the link between to it? Okay, so you have to understand. First, you have created the vendor, and for your vendor, what you have done, you have created. Okay, you have created your group. You have created your vendor groups, right? Where you have created, you have attached your vendor group, right? And then this group in your vendor posting profiles, the vendor posting profile accounts, you have mapped this group here, right? Where you have mapped this group, this local group, you just went to your vendor posting profile accounts. Here you have mapped, you have selected as a group here, and here you have selected as your local group. For this group, you have mapped all these accounts. Okay, right? You have mapped all these accounts. And then what you have done, you have added into your vendor payable parameters. In the vendor payable parameters, this general posting profile, what you have done, you went to vendor accounts payable parameters, and you went to ledger and sales, and you have defined here. Whole system will run and will read from this parameter only. Though you have prepared your posting profile, though you have prepared your so local group, whatever it is, system did not read. System will read from here itself. System will pick up the details from here parameters itself. Okay, these all information you will map to here to your posting profile into your parameters, and posting profile parameters will read, and so it will give the results from here to here, from here to here. Okay, understood guys? Now so once you have done all this information, then so system has created the ledgers. Whatever the ledger account that's been posted here, it will go to your trial balance. Then your TB will impact trial balance. Trial balance will impact. We'll see this trial balance where it will impact. Okay, suppose you have posted one payment journal, right? You have posted one payment journal. Where is your payment journal? Vendor payments, vendor payment journals. Okay, so let's take all. You have posted one payment journals, and if you see the voucher, see this accounts has been picked up. So accounts payable trade parameters. Where this accounts has been picked up? From your posting profile accounts. From your posting profile accounts, it's been taken. Your summary account, you can see this is the summary account for the payables. This is your vendor balance. Okay, vendor payment this is. And then this is your through bank GL you have created this one. Now Raj, so you may get one more doubt here. Raj, so in the transaction level, if you see here, you have, so your debit is, so your vendor, my vendor account, MRF company, I have debited here. But, when I see the voucher, so my debit is some account is there. Why this account is coming here? It's supposed to be my vendor, right? So why it is coming, guys? Any idea?
It's a main ledger, Rashika.
It's a main ledger where we have defined in the posting profile account, and this account has been picked up in your transaction level. In the posting profile, what you are telling the system, boss, so whenever my group is, Where is your Tech Mahindra? See here you are telling system, boss, so whenever I post my local vendors, this whatever the vendor, this vendor is related to local vendors, right? I have created a group as local vendors only. This MRF company I created as local vendors. I'm telling my system, boss, whenever there is a local vendor I'm trying to post, this accounts needs to be picked up. Okay, that's the reason what system is saying, so whenever I have selected this account, so my local vendor, so my background account has been picked up as per my posting profile account, whatever I defined in the backend. Understood, guys? You have to understand the link, guys, in link between your, so ledger to subledger. That is the reason I'm explaining all these, things. Okay. Now understood, guys? And trial balance, so these
Rashikar,
accounts will directly hit to your trial balance. You just go to your general ledger. There is your general ledger module. Sorry. You just go to your general ledger module. Here, inquiries and report. This is your trial balance, TB. Whatever the transaction you post, all those transactions will come and appear here. Okay. So main account, so the parameter level, I'll select the main account. Okay. This is the date range. From this date range to this date range I want, and I'll calculate the balances. Now you can see these are the transactions we have posted currently. And if you see here, the payable level 20,000 payment we have posted, right? This is the account you have been mapped. This is the account you have been mapped in your posting profile account. And this is the account, the balances is fetching. You can see the closing balance is 20,000 still available. Okay, there is no invoice, it's been settled. Okay, clear, guys. Now, so at least hope you understand the link between your ledger to subledger.
Rashikar, just I have one doubt, Rashikar, as we are
Hmm.
not able to see the name side, vendor names, only in the group account summaries, only we can see that account as showing as a 200 something account number, right? So
Yes.
under these groups, so I might have created the multiple suppliers.
Hmm.
Okay, like in the local groups, like there are like 2 to 3 suppliers are there. So to which supplier we are paying, how will come to know if you are giving only this main account number?
Okay, good question. Good question. Any others as the same questions? Okay, no problem. See, Lakshmi here, so your question is, suppose here, boss, so you have given local vendor as, so for this posting profile account. And in the same way, so I have created in my vendors, I have created n number of customer vendors here. I'll create n number of vendors. For all the vendors, I have given local here, local only. In that case, so I don't understand, so which while seeing my trial balance, I can't understand for which a vendor I have made a payment, right? That is your question.
Yeah, Rashikar, exactly right.
See,
Yeah.
for that, this trial balance, you don't have that visibility. But so if you want to see the transaction still, you can go ahead and see the transactions here. You can see here the voucher, whatever the voucher you have. Okay, this is all the transaction. If you post the multiple transactions for the multiple vendors, you can see here multiple transactions here. But I wanted to see only if this particular vendor, so whatever the it's been posted, so I can click on the original document. Okay, you can see here what is the vendor, so vendor account. It's been posted, and I can click on the view details. Here, it will take me to directly my journals, my vendor payment journal. Here I can see the lines. Here you can see the whatever the vendor it's been posted, MRF company. This is the one way round, and also so this is for auditor level. So if your auditor come and ask, boss, for which vendor you made a payment, then in that case you can just dig into these details and you can take them to these details. Apart from that, so if you want to make a pay, so if you want to see the transactions at the vendor level, anyways you have your vendor statements. You can go to inquiries and reports, vendor reports. You have here account statement. Okay, you can just so click here your account statement. your account statement. In the account statement, you can just whatever the vendor you have, you wanted to see the transactions, you can just select that particular vendor and you can extract the transactions at the vendor level. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear, Rajshekhar. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and that is the thing. Also, guys, you have here your payment journals. If you see here the payment journals, you also have here option to attach if there is any of your invoices, say invoice copies, or so if there is any supporting documents, if you want to add, you can add it here only, edit, and so you can add it here itself. Okay, that is the option you have here. Okay, so also also if you want to export these transactions into your Excel, you can just click here and you can export this one into your Excel file as well. So whatever the transactions, you can just select all, you can export it. Okay. Okay, any further questions, guys? Say here you can export to Excel. You can just click here and it will come to your Excel file. Okay. Okay, so any doubts?